I apologize as I'm starting this video. I'm laughing to myself a little bit. I just turned on Monday Night Football. I was not following it throughout the whole night because honestly, I was pretty sucked into Raw. It was a pretty good episode of Raw. They did a lot to set up Survivor Series at the end of the month in San Diego. And I didn't set up my iPad and have the game on the other screen, and the score is 31-9. The Cowboys are kicking the crap out of the Raiders. I apologize, freaking the A88. Someday they will fix that team, and Las Vegas will have a winning football team in the Raiders. Every year I kind of root for it. Not too much because I want my Niners to win. But, football's just better when the Raiders are out there. But tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw, so good. Madison Square Garden, the magic was in the air. John Cena's final night on the television show, not in the company. He's still got one more PLE, and he's got one more Saturday night's main event. I'll tell you the truth. As the episode started, it wasn't like they really gave us a real big, like, this is John Cena from 2005 to 2025. It wasn't like they showed a video, but for the first time, that WWE Then Now Forever Together, that thing kind of got me. And I was just kind of thinking, like, I wish it was John Cena forever. Like I remember when people were kind of taking him for granted in, the later, maybe the mid 2010s, because honestly, from 2016 to 2020, I was following the wrestling business, but I wasn't giving it my whole heart, so I can't tell you a whole bunch. But I know that as I was getting out of watching wrestling, they did the Roman Reigns versus John Cena match at LA at the Staples Center. I believe it was No Mercy 2016. And I just remember, like, everybody hated Roman. Everybody hated Cena. They acted like they didn't like wrestling, yet they paid all this money to go to the Staples Center, to go to this PLE. And everybody's tuning in to watch this on the WWE Network. And I remember thinking, like, if you don't like this, why are you watching? And are you just watching because it's what you've always done and you don't know what else to do? This was before AEW came around, so there besides for TNA, there was no real competition to change channel to or anything like that. But it's weird to think that, it'll be a while before John Cena pops up, and when he does pop up, he might look like he's gonna fight, he might looks like he's gonna wrestle, but He's given us his word. No matter how much money is on the table for WrestleMania 43, Cena says he will not be a part of it. He's not going to wrestle today, tomorrow, or ever again after December. I'm sure he'll still have his job in WWE and doing whatever it is they need him to do. They're still going to sell the shirts and the hats and everything else, and I'm sure he'll do interviews for forever and ever. But man, Cena came out to kick off Monday Night Raw. He came down to the ring. He was interrupted by Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio made sure that he set up a match for Survivor Series to have a rematch for the Intercontinental Championship. But at the same time, Cena kept, pushing to have the fight tonight. And that's the point when the Judgment Day made their way down to the ring, Finn Balor and JD McDonough, and they thought they were going to, scare John Cena away, and he was going to run to the back, and they got what they wanted, and they got the one match. But when they tried to bring the fisticuffs to the whole thing, Sheamus came out, followed by Rey Mysterio, and the 6-man tag was set. And I thought this was awesome. Cena, Sheamus, and Mysterio got the win here. They hit everybody's moves. They did the whole deal. I don't think I've ever learned it, but when Sheamus gets the guys in the ropes and just starts beating them in the chest, they did that. They did the 5-knuckle shuffle, and then came off the ropes. And right after that, they set up Finn and JD McDonough for the 619 with Rey Mysterio, and I was a fool. I honestly thought that Cena was gonna hit it because he ran into the ropes following Rey Mysterio, and yeah, I think we were all wanting that to happen. I think that was during the CM Punk match, but I'm not really 100% sure. I remember the one match where he was just kind of like doing everybody's moves, and we were calling him out as they went along, as him saying a thank you, because we were kind of looking at the calendar, noticing he was running out of dates. Everybody thought he was going to have a match against Sheamus. He was going to have a match against Rey Mysterio. He was going to have a match against The Miz, and none of them ever came to be. But really fun as they went to the back. You know, they were getting their moment in the sun. Sheamus, Cena, and Mysterio, three of the biggest names in wrestling, in WWE, from like 2010 to 2020. All of them had major runs in the company. Maybe Mysterio was never a main event guy, but they tried to turn Sheamus into being the next John Cena, to carry the company and be a figurehead, knowing that John Cena wasn't going to last forever, and maybe the run wasn't as great as they thought it was going to be. He always seemed like when he was a face, he was somebody, but then he got injured. I think roughly somewhere around 2016 is when he came down with a neck injury. They weren't ever sure if he was going to come back. Then when he did come back, they stuck him in the bar. Really good tag team matches with Cesaro, but it didn't, you know, he never was as big of a star as they were. They pushed him a few times, never quite to that main event spot. He's had some matches, you know, for the title, but he's never won them. But all three of those guys, three of the biggest names that were out there. You know, once that was all said and done, basically, we had a thing in the back with Paul Heyman handing out the contracts, and Nick Aldis as well as Adam Pearce were in the back, and they were all trying to figure out what the hell Paul Heyman had up his sleeve, and we found that out at the end of the night, but little did we know that the good guys had one on their side for the night. More to come on that one. As we're running down everything, Adam Schultz and Scatterboo from the New York Giants, they got into a little bit of a mix-up with the Judgment Day. We had a segment where Nikki Bella jumped Stephanie Vakir from the back and then delivered her promo, basically saying that, you know, she didn't come back to WWE to sit in the back seat and be somebody's best friend. She's coming back to reclaim that belt for the Bella Army and show everyone the champion that she was. So that match is set for Survivor Series. We are now going to get Dominic Mysterio versus John Cena, and we're adding Stephanie Vakir, putting the championship on the line against Nikki Bella. We had, I thought we had the Alexa promo after that, but our first, the last time is now, tournament match, which would be Solo Sikoa going up against Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler returning to the company from TNA. I don't know. Part of me, I thought that when Ryder came back, Ryder was really coming back to the company. And then the news came out that it was only a one-night deal. So maybe I'm falling for it again, and I want Ziggler to come back and be a real competitor in WWE if his TNA deal is done. But I thought it was weird. At least I didn't recognize it. The shirt that they put up on WWE Shop, that seems like it's a new shirt, which makes me think that maybe Dolph is really coming back to the company and they could find a way to use him. I don't care if he wrestles for the Intercontinental. I don't care if he wrestles for the United States title. Ziggler's good. Always was good. Always will be good until he decides that he is done. I don't think anybody can really pick out a match. I don't care if it's a Raw or SmackDown match, a PLE match. He's always entertaining, and it doesn't matter how much time he gets, he's going to make the most of it. Solo Sikoa hit the spike on Dolph Ziggler to roll him up and get the win, but honestly, Dolph Ziggler hit two big moves where it looked like he was going to get the win, and he didn't do it, but it was one hell of a match and a really good showing from Dolph. That was really, really good. From there we go to the Alexa Bliss promo. She comes down to the ring in a shirt saying, "We are not best friends," or maybe it says "we are not friends," one way or the other, and then delivers a promo to Charlotte, basically saying, "How can you do this to me? how can you turn on me?" And then by the end of it, like, she's saying, "We were best friends. And just because I want to stay here and I want to help Rhea Ripley, you say that we can't get along and we can't team anymore." And at that point, all hell broke loose when all of the heels came running down. We had Asuka, Kairi Sane, Nia Jax / Legend, and the fight was on. Rhea Ripley came running down with Kairi. No, not Kairi Sane. Io Sky. I apologize. I screwed him up. But they came running down to even the odds. And at that point, when the fight was 3-on-4, Charlotte came running out with a kendo stick, fighting off all of the heels. And at that point, helped Alexa Bliss up out of the corner. And they hugged. And as they hugged, for some reason, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, they hugged, and then they pointed at each other, and I guess that means that Charlotte is going to join this team, and it was just like 1 week of like, what's gonna happen? What are they gonna do? But it was a little bit weird to me. It didn't make a ton of sense. Charlotte should have just joined the team. Maybe it would have made sense if Charlotte and Rhea would have fought for a minute and like gain respect for each other. That it's like, oh, we got to get on the same page. We're going to fight them. We're going to fight someday, but not today. We're going to beat them up first. We had the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Maxine Dupree rolled up Becky Lynch and was able to get the victory, as Becky Lynch was preoccupied with AJ Lee making her return to WWE. She skipped down to the ring, and basically that distracted Becky Lynch. Dupree hit her with a flying crossbody, and she rolled her up and got the 1, 2, 3. And Dupree is now going to be the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. And in my mind, the rumors are kind of saying that Becky as well as AJ are not going to have a one-on-one affair. They're going to join these War Games teams. And I'm trying to think, AJ Lee, how is she connected to Io Sky? How is she connected to Rhea Ripley? How is she connected to Alexa Bliss? How is she connected to Charlotte Flair? I don't even think she was in the company when any of them were in the company. So if she's out there trying to help out Maxine Dupree is not going to be in this War Games match. Why is AJ... She gave the promo in the back. I'm skipping ahead. I apologize. But she said that she came back to the company to help her husband. Now she's coming back to the company and she's helping Maxine Dupree. But she's leaving her high and dry. And probably that Intercontinental Championship, we're not going to see for a good while. Much like that United States Championship that shows up every once in a while. We're all hoping now it's on Chelsea Green and Ethan Page that it's going to mean something yet once again. But probably we're going to see them defend those Mexican intergender tag titles. That's probably what we're going to see more than anything else. But I think that's where they're going. These two are going to join the War Games teams. And Maxine Dupree, all the best to you. But you're probably going to be defending this on Main Event or something like that. And I bet it's a while before we see this belt on Monday Night Raw again. Javon Evans and Gunther. This match had no business being as good as it was. Every single time I thought Gunther was putting away Javon Evans hit him with some sort of like high-class, flashy move. I don't even know what the name of his moves are. You can call out basically a Hurricanrana or something like that, but I said he got my attention during the When Worlds Collide the same day as Money in the Bank. That was the first time I saw him, and I've tried my best to pay attention to him without watching the NXT show. But he's wrestled on the TNA pay-per-view and other NXT takeovers and things like that. But I mean, I think Gunther is really surprised, and I'm surprised that Gunther, being the favorite to win this tournament, would give this guy from NXT as much during this match. But Gunther, every single time we thought that he was going to win this, Javon Evans found a way. The match ended up going 15 minutes long. I can't remember the last time Gunther had a match with anybody that was 15 minutes. I don't even think that maybe the WrestleMania match that opened up WrestleMania, where Jey Uso won the championship. But when Gunther beat Jey for the championship back, that seemed like a 5-minute affair that Gunther just beat the hell out of him. And here he is going for basically the distance with Javon Evans. One hell of a match. One really big surprise. When I made my video preview for this match, I basically said that I don't think the people that are watching Monday Night Raw, 50% of the people will know who Javon Evans is. Everyone is going to be waiting on pins and needles for the next Javon Evans match. I'll tell you that. I don't think he's getting called up to the main roster as of just yet. But this match proves he deserves to be there. In the back is when we had the interview with AJ Lee and Maxine Dupree. Otis and Tozawa. It took you almost an hour to find Maxine Dupree to hang out and celebrate her win. Two of your best friends right there. Where the hell were they? I understand you got to wait for the camera crew to get there, but maybe they should have ran down to the ring as it happened. Something like that. Our main event of Monday Night Raw was supposed to be a face-to-face where they would talk out their problems before War Games, and maybe they decide, hey, we don't need to have a match. But basically, the babyfaces interrupted the introduction of Paul Heyman, of Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker. We had CM Punk come out first, followed by a Yeet-a-thon with Jimmy and Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes coming down and surrounding the ring. The funny part was that as soon as the babyfaces surrounded the ring, Cody and Punk looked at each other like, okay, now what do we do? And then all of a sudden, the fight was on. And the babyfaces, they scored the early advantage, taking out the heels. And what do you know? Brock Lesnar runs down and hits everybody. Suplex City. Brock Lesnar returns to WWE. This is the first time we've seen him since SummerSlam, more than a couple of years ago, against Cody Rhodes. Everybody knows what's happened. Everybody knows it doesn't need to be mentioned. He hasn't been pointed at and told that he's guilty in a court of anything. Everything seems to be against Vince, who are not allowed to talk about or, basically put on TV unless it's a brand new pay-per-view. And the wrestling pay-per-views are moving to ESPN. And then we can start off the show with Vince McMahon highlights or something like that. But Vince is supposed to be a topic that we don't talk about anymore. And I think it's a hot topic for a lot of people. So I'm trying to get off it as fast as I can. I think there will be a lot of outcry on Twitter as well as on YouTube videos about should Brock Lesnar really be back in WWE. I'm just going to take it as he's back, and it is what it is until WWE decides, hey, maybe we should take him off TV, which I don't think is going to happen. God's honest truth. I'm not saying the man is completely 100% innocent of anything, but at the same time, I don't really know what he did was wrong. Maybe he was involved, but it wasn't like he was the one setting this whole thing up. If, somebody's like, hey, go over there and do that, you're probably going to go over there and do that and not really know what the heck's going on. Just thinking you got, I'm dancing around this, guys. I really, really am. But we got fooled. We got duped. We thought we were going to get left. And I honestly thought that would have made a lot of sense. Because on SmackDown this week, Bronson Reed has a match in the John Cena Last time is now invitational tournament. He has a first round match. He's going to be going up against Carmelo Hayes. That's a little bit of a weird heel versus heel match. Carmelo's kind of a babyface. Hasn't really separated from The Miz all that yet. But then again, why have they not done Carmelo Hayes versus The Miz? It seems like this feud has been going on for like 3 months. They haven't had a SmackDown match. They haven't had a PLE match. They just keep messing with each other. Why hasn't Nick Aldis stepped in and been like, enough is enough? You got to fight or what? But Roman Reigns made his way out. And it was basically Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar in the center of the ring, where basically Roman got the best of Brock today. These guys have had so many encounters in WWE. Biggest ones have been the build-up to WrestleMania 31. That one was interrupted by Seth Rollins. But then they had the Crown Jewel 2021, which was a classic. SummerSlam 2022. That's the one where I think Lesnar took the tractor to the ring and tipped it upside down, basically. And then WrestleMania 38. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the first ever undisputed WWE Championship match. So this one's going to be a big one. I'm not really quite sure how they build this up and make it bigger than it is, but we have our 5. We have our 5-on-5, so we're just waiting until we get there. But big edition of Monday Night Raw tonight. Really big. Peace out.